Well, what's the Fiji one?
I hadn't talked to Fiji people. I didn't even see them yet. I know they're, whoa, there it is.
What's that? Oh, Avelo.
Where is bass? Anything less than 2, it's going to cost.
That's the bladder.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Good.
Are you familiar at all?
I'm
Slightly
curious.
familiar.
Curious. Very, very
We like curious.
I love curious too.
Have you heard anything about it?
I have.
Okay.
I've been doing a little bit of studying and whatnot.
Okay.
And then
nerds over here with
one of our training partners, we talked about getting together and trying to put together a demo for this thing. We missed one.
The tour. We missed the tour.
I can't remember where that was, but yeah, we missed it. So.
Okay. So the system is basically 2 components. It's the Hydrotank and the Jetpack. The Hydrotank, obviously we call it Hydro because we put water into it.
Right.
So the cutout here, you see that inside the tank is a bladder. So when you fill the bladder with air, it stays in the bladder. We have the pump on this side. We have the battery that runs the pump on the other side on the Jetpack. The hose comes down here, goes into the bottom of the tank. We weight you to be about 2 pounds positively buoyant at the surface. You have swimmer's buoyancy, so you're floating here. You're not floating here like you do with the BC, but you're still floating. You're not going to sink.
Do you need a BC with this?
No, this is the whole system right here.
Okay.
So when we want to descend, we push the button, which is right over here. It starts the pump. The pump runs for 1 minute and then we'll stop. That 1 minute puts about 2 pounds of negative buoyancy into the system. So you were 2 pounds positive, we've added 2 pounds negative, now you're neutral. You exhale, you swim down, you dive. You dive for 20, 25 minutes, you go to 60, 70 feet, you go up to 15 feet, nothing changes as far as your buoyancy goes. You're perfectly neutral because you have no PCD bubble expanding or contracting. So you make no adjustments, you just dive.
Okay.
After breathing through the gas 20, 25 minutes in, you start feeling slightly positively buoyant. You reach around, push the button, put another 2 pounds of negative buoyancy in, and you're back down to perfect.
And you said that's an automatic 2 pounds it's going to give?
It runs for a minute and stops.
And
Yeah.
gives you
So
that,
in that sense, it's automatic, but you have to start the pump.
Right, you have to start it, but I mean, it knows where to go.
It runs for a minute, and the flow is going to change a little bit differently based on how much air you breathe through, because the bladder now has less pressure, so it's pushing against less force. So it might put a little bit more in on a minute cycle into the dive than it does at the beginning of the dive, but it's right around 2 pounds, give or take. And that's all the adjustments you typically have to do on a dive. So you don't have to add air to BC, let air out, down, you just dive. Yeah.
What's the tank pressure, the bladder pressure that you're going to fill this thing to?
So these are high pressure tanks, so we can fill them to 4350.
Okay. All right.
They work fine at 3,000. So
Okay.
this system fits seamlessly into the existing scuba ecosystem.
Okay.
So any dive shop in the world can build these tanks just like they do any other tank.
Special certification for hydro inspection?
Same thing.
Same thing?
1 year viz, 5 year hydro.
Okay.
And
Same procedures as a hydro?
Yep, exact same. The bladder comes out, and then this just becomes, this is an aluminum lining. So you visually inspect the aluminum lining. Run the hydro test just like you would any other tank. But we do have a cap that we take one out, put the cap in. Other than that, it's the exact same process.
Okay, all right.
What about the service life of the actual tank itself?
15 years.
15 years? Okay.
Unfortunately, carbon fiber or composite tanks are all, it's a 15-year and then they damage.
Do we have a replacement cost on the tank yet?
Right now, the tanks are right around $1,200. As we have more volume, that's going to come down.
Is that with or without a bladder?
With the bladder.
Okay.
So it's much safer. You can't have an uncontrolled ascent or descent. So as an instructor, I love it. When I'm teaching, we're piloting our open water Avelo course right now. So I've taught non-certified divers how to dive scuba on our system.
Okay.
It is so much easier to teach because you do
Less things to remember.
you do a fin pivot with them. They learn it in 5 seconds because when you do it in a pool in 5 feet of water and you have some air in the BC, they go up a foot and now they're having to figure out, well, wait a minute, why am I
that
going
bob.
up?
Yeah, they do this.
Yeah. You do it with your breathing and you figure it out. You breathe in, you go up, you exhale, you go down. There's nothing that's going to pull you up more or drop you faster. And then on dive 2, they look like they've been diving forever. Their buoyancy is perfect because they go up or down and nothing changes. They don't have to figure out how to compensate or put air in or let it out.
And then what did you say the weight was on this? The total package?
The total system is 45 pounds with a reg, full tank of gas, and the jetpack.
And battery life.
Battery life, depending on how many times you run the battery and when in the dive you run it, it can last 6 dives. We recommend it after 2 dives. At the end of the day, just charge the battery.
Recharge the mice.
Yeah, it's 45 minutes to get it up to 90%. And then the next hour and a half or so, lithium ion, so the last is trickle charging, the last 10%. So, it's totally usable at 90%. So if you're on like a liveaboard or something and you just want to charge it in between dives, easy peasy.
Any question? Any degradation on storage of the battery? Fully charged?
Yes, it will drop, a little bit each day for about 2 weeks. So it's a 50-volt battery. It'll drop down to like 45 volts, and then the BMS will shut it down.
What about long-term storage for the battery? Do you charge it or don't charge it?
It shuts itself down.
Okay.
It has a BMS system, so like I said, when it gets to 45 volts, it'll shut it down. So then there won't be any more degrading after that.
If you can't tell, he's my battery and technical guy. So, yeah.
Well, I just know the things that when being fully charged, the batteries themselves will degrade because of the full charge of the
everything
hill.
degrades. Yeah.
So I didn't know there was a storage charge they prefer to have on it before you store it. Like you're saying 45, so charge them at 46, or don't then that way the battery's not fully charged and basically full of energy before you store it, because that actually degrades the battery over time.
I guess you guys are on the market selling these right now?
Oh yeah. We've been last year. We've actually sold them. We've been teaching and training the system, and we've had dive shops opening since February 23.
Okay.
So the first year we had us in Maui. We were the only dive shop. The second year we added about 5 more, and then last year, this past year we've added about 40 in this year alone. Next year we're projecting over 100. Okay. So we're expanding very quickly. The first year I was the only instructor trainer. Then we had added 2 more, and by the end of January of this coming year, we'll be up to 11. So that's
what's your course and everything. Kind of. You said you're demoing it, so that tells me you've got it out. What's your course run? Is it, all inclusive? Like when you buy the system, do you get the course with it? Is that 2 different deals?
Yeah, it's 2 different deals. So most people will take the course first and make sure they like it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
There are a few people that have bought it, tried to buy it without trying it.
Yeah. Because I got a student. He is highly interested.
Okay.
And I said, well, let me check it out first, because this is brand new technology for me. This is brand new.
Yeah.
So, and that's why Wade and I were talking about, trying to get with you guys to do some kind of a demo. That way we can, we've never done it ourselves.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, the tour, we had a van full of gear, and we were driving the van around and stopping at different dive shops and certifying people on the system. But yeah, there's places around.
Okay. You got more lined up or anything to do that kind of thing?
Another tour. The next place we're going to probably do is the Northeast of the country. We don't don't have any presence up there yet.
Okay, so you're migrating.
Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, we did central U.S. and then we did West Coast.
Okay.
And now we're coming back to Northeast. Okay. And then, you know, depending on the interest and how many dive shops we have, you know, and an area that are interested. So we do have, if you're interested, own a dive shop?
I do.
Okay. Tomorrow at 11, we have a seminar on how to become an Avelo dive center.
Okay.
So it goes through all of the steps, what's required, what the costs are, what the ROI potential is, everything you would need to know about becoming a dive shop.
So insurancing, is there anything specialty about this type of system being brand new that I should be aware of?
So Dan already insures us.
Okay.
So your instructors, if they already have Dan insurance and they become Avelo instructors, they just say, can you add me to my insurance, and there's no additional cost. They're just covered.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Dan's very behind us, very much behind us, because they realize that it's safer.
Okay. So they're all about it.
They're totally all about it.
They're totally. Okay. Awesome.
Let me see. I have
I got one.
You got one? You got the stuff? Okay. Yeah, but if you can do that, if you can make that seminar, it'll answer like all of your questions.
You already have. I mean, really, right now you've answered a lot right here.
Okay.
You know, because the first thing is getting your head wrapped around and seeing it. You know what it looks like, and you see videos. You're like, okay, but they're not showing this.
Sure.
You know, and I'm a fairly technical guy, so is these guys. So we want to see the nuts and bolts of how it works.
Sure.
So absolutely. And I like what you said about it's easier to teach with students.
Yeah. So I couldn't believe it. The first pilot that I taught. I was just like, oh god.
And how hard was it for a senior diver to pick it up?
So
Pick it up readily?
The more experienced you are, the more you have to unlearn.
I was afraid of that.
So,
because I'd be reaching for something.
Exactly. Every experienced diver does this first dive.
Right?
Because we do it subconsciously now. As a matter of fact, one of the comments that we get is, I don't need, my buoyancy's fine. I don't need this. I'm like, you adjust your BC. I was like, I don't touch it, you know? And then, you know, we'll say,
you make micro adjustments, because I, you know, people say it all the time. I was like, I'm pretty prone to not touch mine, but I catch myself all the time doing micro adjustments.
Exactly. We do it
all the time.
And we use our breathing to do a lot of the adjustments of the BC getting, the bubble getting bigger or smaller. And what that does is increase our sac rate. So, you know, we don't feel it like we're doing it. We don't feel like we're increasing our rate, but we actually, one of the things that we have is called the Avelo mode.
Yeah.
So you would be interested in this, being tech guys. So Shearwater right now, all of their computers have the potential to have the Avelo mode. It's a firmware update, that's all. And what we do is, because physics is going on inside the tank, we can measure what's happening with pressure and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then we can have these printouts, graphs, that show exactly what's happening during the dive.
Okay.
So the blue is your depth, the green is your pressure in your tank, and the red line is your bladder volume. So you have inverse relationships with pressure and volume. So when you're pumping water in, the bladder is compressing, so it's getting smaller, and your pressure is going up.
Right.
So you can see that where, you know, here, this is actually, we use this because this is a little bit of a different profile, is that this person, they went down and they felt like they were too heavy. And that rarely happens, because normally you're neutral.
Right.
So he decided that he was going to purge a little bit because he felt too heavy. So you see his pressure actually drops because the bladder's expanding and it's less dense. Right. So then this is all him just breathing. And this is the second dive of our class. Mm-hmm. So one of the things we make you do is run the pump underwater when you don't need to.
Right.
To see that the change in buoyancy is so slow that it's easily manageable.
Okay.
So if the pump is running if it won't stop running, it just keeps running.
Yeah.
You know, that was a question we got early on. What if the pump keeps running?
Keeps running.
Keeps putting water in.
Then
Well,
it's gonna.
the easy solution is just open the purge valve a little bit,
Right.
and let whatever water is coming in to go out. That's easy, but we say, okay, we're going to show you though that it's such a slow process that you have plenty of time to ascend, even if that pump is running and you don't open the purge.
Okay.
Right. So we make you do that, and then we say, after you do that, go ahead and purge if you need to get yourself back to neutral. So that's what he did. He purged, and then we also make him purge all of the water out of the tank that he has in the tank underwater to see that you're not going to get shot up to the surface.
Okay, that was one of my kind of big concerns. Like, how do you keep from shooting?
Yeah, there is no. So you may have a change of 4 pounds at that point. We can still overcome that with our breathing, right? So you just keep exhaling a little bit more. You swim in a little head down. You can easily allow yourself to float up to safety stop, easily stay at your safety stop, and then end your dive. So neither of those two things, the pump runs all the time, or you push the button, it doesn't run at all. Okay, so you're like a pound or pound and a half too buoyant at that point. You're still not in danger of anything. You just decided you were feeling a little too buoyant, so you wanted to run the pump. But the pump doesn't work.
Right.
Okay, you're still just a little bit too buoyant.
Right.
So then you just go up, you do your safety stop, and you're
good to go.
Okay. It's not a problem. So there are no emergencies. It's not like a stuck inflator hose, or your weight pockets drop out, or all of those things can be emergencies.
Oh yeah,
standard.
absolutely.
It's all gone with the system. There is no emergency. So anyway, he went ahead and he purged, and then at the end he pumped to get back to neutral, and then he just did the rest of the dive. So you can see that if we didn't make him pump and purge, he could have almost done the whole dive without changing anything. But the really cool graph that we can do is this one. So the green lines area represents your tidal volume breathing. So this is where you're comfortable breathing, and we call it the zone of neutral buoyancy. But it's not really the zone of neutral buoyancy, it's a zone of neutral buoyancy based on comfortable breathing. So you can be neutrally buoyant in a BC, or feel like you're neutrally buoyant in a wide range, a special experience. We can go up 30, 40 feet and not have to adjust anything, we just change our breathing rate. But now our breathing rate's much higher because we're compensating. With Avelo, you don't ever have to compensate. So our comfortable breathing range is regardless of depth. Okay. Right? With the BC, when you find that sweet neutral point where you're breathing comfortably, then you have a small depth range that you can go up or down before you get out of comfortable breathing. With us, you're comfortable breathing the whole dive, regardless of the depth. So the purple line represents your buoyancy line, is the force. And you can see that he went into the water a touch heavy. So this is, I don't have my glasses on. This is the 0 line. So remember we said we'd like you to be about 2 pounds positive at the surface? He was only about 1 pound positive at the surface. I think that's what that is, right?
Yeah, you're about 1 pound. Yeah.
Right. So then he pumped, and he put about 2 pounds in, and you see he's now out of his comfortable breathing zone. He still can maintain neutral buoyancy and dive. He's just out of his comfortable breathing range. So that's when he said, you know what, I'm just feeling like I'm too heavy. I'm going to purge. So he let some water out, and look where he put himself. Right in the middle. Yeah. So this guy was totally, or girl, was totally in tune with their buoyancy, right? So then they went ahead, and this is where we made him pump. And so when we make him pump, he's going to go negative as far as his buoyancy. And he stayed down for 30 seconds, and then he purged, and he put himself right back in the middle again. So then we made him purge, and he pumped and put himself right back in the middle again. These little triangles, I don't know if you heard about the Profile X challenge that we had.
I've heard about it, yes.
The Shearwater computer, you can click one of their buttons and tell it that this is where I feel like I'm neutrally buoyant. So the challenge was to do that before you do any skills,
I see.
after the first skill and after the second skill, see where you really are.
And they're right in that zone.
This guy was within grams of force. I mean, this is unbelievable. No one else was even close to this. So this one, they won a turret and a transmitter, both the instructor and the student. It's
That's pretty
sweet
good.
prize.
Yeah.
But so this is what we can do with the students and go through the dives with them. And this is your breathing rate. So you can see his breathing rate's around 10 or 11 liters per minute, which is obviously a very experienced, good. How you doing, David? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Good. We went through the course director training class together in 2015. But you can see that his breathing is pretty consistent and pretty good. A lot of these profiles, when someone gets out of this zone here, you see the breathing rate go up. For him, if it goes from a 10 to a 12, that's still a 20% increase in his breathing rate. So if you do that throughout the dive, you're adjusting because of the BC. Right. Again, we don't feel that little bit of change, but it's shortening our dives, right? So we've seen people increase their dive times by 20, extreme measures 25%, just by changing it to our system and not having to screw around with BC. But we can say, like, well, look, your breathing rate went up a little bit right here. Maybe that's where we saw the manta ray, right? Exactly. So
Excited,
a lot of people get more excited. So you say, just next time you see a manta ray, try and think about your breathing and try and keep it calmer, so that because if you see 10 manta rays throughout the dive,
you know where they're at.
Dive.
Yeah, you know where they're at.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people love these because they can see what happens graphically throughout their dive, and they can change some things based on, okay, now I know I did feel too buoyant and I should have run the pump there. And because I didn't, my breathing rate went up. Right? So just stuff like that, and we're really fine-tuning and improving people's buoyancy. And then when we actually get calls, they go back to standard, and they're like, my buoyancy is so much better because I now know what buoyancy really is.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is a tough thing to teach.
Exactly.
It is a very tough thing to teach. Some people get it quick.
Exactly.
Some people don't.
Exactly. So you still have people with 100 dives that are still fiddling all day long. Because they just don't understand.
That's what I've had people, I call them huggers because it looks like they're hugging on their power inflator. Like, what are you doing?
We've seen it all, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's all the same everywhere you go.
Awesome.
This solves a lot of those problems.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, cool.
I'm excited about it.
Oh yeah, have them.
Absolutely.
You guys fill out that interest form, and when we're doing the tour, if you guys are really interested, we'll figure out a way to get you up and running. But
Absolutely.
if you can go to the seminar tomorrow, that would be also very helpful.
Excellent. All right. You got a card or anything?
Yeah. You got it? You got it?
Okay.
Got it?
Jay, we appreciate everything.
Yeah,
Thank
nice
you.
to meet you guys.
Yeah,
Hope to see you again
fascinating.
soon.
Good deal.